I got a table saw. Table saw. Table saw. Greetings and salutations, literally salutations, good people of the internet. My name is Big Lou. Welcome to my workshop. I have just picked up this monstrosity from Home Depot. It is the Ridgid R4512 cast iron top table saw, 10-inch table saw. Home Depot, Ridgid, neither of which have sponsored me. I have picked this up with my own money. I will put a link to where I got it from down in the description below. Today, I'm going to unbox it, put it together, use it a little bit, and tell you what I think about it. So, you want to see what this thing can do? Stick around. All right, before we get into things, I just want to go ahead and let you know that the pros and cons that I do at the end of this video, I have had this table saw now for about 4 months. I bought it in November. It is now the beginning of March. I've had a chance to use it quite a bit on several projects, so it's not like I've just opened it up, used it, and here's my thoughts. I have had it for several months. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get to it. All right, so I got the thing unboxed finally, and as you can see, there are a lot of components to this thing. Unfortunately, I did not film the actual unboxing of the body of the saw itself, the cabinet portion, because it was just incredibly unwieldy, and I wasn't sure exactly how I was gonna do it, so I kind of had to tackle it from a couple of different things, and cobbling that together would have just been too much. But suffice to say, it was easier to get out of the big box than I thought it would. What I did was I cut the bottom of the box open. I tipped it up on its side, cut the bottom of the box open, unfolded that, and pushed the styrofoam portion through the back of it, and then I was able to pull the saw out of the styrofoam enclosure and tip it onto the 2x4 that you see right there. So that's how I did that, and now we're gonna go ahead and get moving along with the rest of the assembly. And I don't know about you guys, but these instruction booklets that they send with tool assemblies are a pain in the butt for me to use because they don't stay open and the print's real small. So this is what I do. I go online, and Ridgid has all of their instruction manuals available in PDF format on their website. And I print it out, just the pages that have the assembly instructions, and I put it on a clipboard. It's nice, big, bold, white, that I can read it and not have any issues when I'm putting stuff together. Pro tip. Now I'm at the part where I need to put the wheel assembly on. The instructions say to put the wheel assembly together and then put it onto the bottom of the stand while it's still upside down. I tried it that way. It made me feel like I was in an infomercial with one of the dudes that doesn't know what they're doing and fumbling around. So what I'm gonna do, and I think it makes a little bit more sense, I'm gonna take it apart and put these two on independently. That way I can hit these screws here and there on the 4 pillars. It'll make more sense when you see what I do. Okay, check it out. Boom. It's all right. What's that line from Back to the Future? Look at it roll! It don't roll that way.
Well, I was trying to roll over forward.
Can't do that. Roll this way. There we go.
Yeah, it's 3 wheels.
All right, so now that it's all put together, and as I said at the beginning of this video, I have had this table saw for about 4 months. And I have to say, I love this thing. It is an incredible addition to my shop. So some of the things that I really, really like about it, number one, I have to say it's the price. I got this saw for about $530 from Home Depot. It is outstanding for that price. It's a cast iron top. It is incredibly sturdy. You can't move it, yet with the push of a foot pedal, you can wheel it around and it's incredibly mobile. The cast iron top is one of the biggest selling points on this saw for me. It's really, really difficult to find a cast iron top saw within this price point. It is technically a hybrid saw. A lot of people say it's just a contractor saw, but the blade is belt driven. So that's a good thing. I also really like how easy this thing was to put together. The instructions were incredibly simple to follow. There are a lot of them, but they were really easy to follow. All the parts and bolts and nuts and stuff that you get are all included in one package, which we saw, which was outstanding. Okay. And as I mentioned before, the mobility of this saw, if you need to move it around your shop, it's incredibly easy to move around. You just push the foot pedal down, it raises the landing gear, if you will. Can't think of another way to phrase that, or the wheel assembly down, and you can just move it around wherever you need to move it. It's incredibly versatile that way. The power on this saw is very, very good. I've had no problems running everything from just regular pine 2x4s to really dense woods like Purple Heart and Ash. For what I needed to do, it's got plenty enough power. And calibrating it was also pretty simple. I made use of this dial indicator jig that just fits right in here, and you can align your blade with the miter slot very, very easily. The back panel comes off. You just kind of loosen the bolts that hold the trunnions and just kind of tap it a little bit and get it right in line. It was pretty simple to do. It took me, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes to figure it out and get it all down to the point where it was dead even. Doing the same thing for the fence, on the other hand, was a little bit more of a challenge, and that's where we're going to kind of get into some of the things that I don't like about this saw. So one of the things that I don't like about this saw is the fence. Once it's locked, it is really secure, at least now that I've tightened up the front and the back bolts and stuff, but getting this thing so that it was completely straight was a challenge. It tends to want to shift on you, especially down towards the far end of the fence. Getting it to be completely in line with this little window was kind of a pain, because there's only so much of a tolerance that window will allow, and you have to make sure that this ruler rail is within those limitations, and that was a challenge. I had to finagle that quite a bit. One of the other things that I really am not a fan of on this saw is the dust collection. Yeah, it does have a dust port on the bottom, so anything coming down into the bottom of the saw will get sucked up, so it's decent for that, but there is a lot of dust that accumulates on the top of the saw when you're running stuff through, and it also comes out through the slots for where the wheel cranks are. The saw body itself is not very airtight at all. There's a lot of leaks that can happen. You don't have very good airflow in there, but what does fall down to the bottom, and it's a lot, is able to get sucked up with the whatever dust collection that you have. But it's a messy saw. Long and the short of it, kids, this saw is going to be a wonderful addition to a person that is just starting out, that wants to get a decent table saw at a decent price. It was, like I said, about $530. It's got a cast iron top. It's incredibly sturdy. It's a little high for me. I'm kind of short, and compared to like some of the other saws that I've seen on display at various different places like Woodcraft and Home Depot, it is kind of high. The top of the table measures in at about 37.5 inches. So compared to some of the others that are only 33, it is substantially higher than that. But that's okay. I can deal with a little bit of extra height. I just gotta make sure you use my push stick so that short guys like me don't lean into the blade, which you should always be using a push stick anyway. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Those are all my thoughts on this. If you really liked this video and it was useful to you, I greatly appreciate you hitting me with a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, share it amongst all your friends so that they can suffer right along with you. In the meantime, I'm gonna get to work on the next project. You can subscribe by clicking right here. I've got another fun video for you to watch right here. Stay inspired, stay motivated, stay safe. We'll see you next time.